Morning everyone, another beautiful Sunday here, southwest Saskatchewan, sun shining, no rain in sight, grass is drying up, won't have to mow that too much longer. So anyhow, we're back to working on the interior here. Finally got off my procrastinating ass and got busy on it, so I'll show you what we're doing and how that's going to progress here. So I got in there with the zip disc and started hacking and cutting. Just put some light on the subject. So I cut that whole section out where the radio was and cut into my nice patch there. Got that cleaned out really good and started looking online for AC vents, and they're just brutal. These are Vintage Airs underdash ones, the round ones. I'm gonna have to buy another one. I really don't want to. This bloody thing is gonna cost me 60 bucks by the time I get it here for a little piece of plastic. And the rectangle ones that they have are even worse. They'd probably be close to 85 bucks by the time I got them here. So I started looking around, and the old Durango I had for that Hemi donation had these rear vents that were up in the headliner for the rear passengers, and one of these is going to work absolutely perfect for me. So what I did was it's probably still hot, I made a patch to go in the bottom part of the dash there. On the end here, what I did was I broke a 90 and then I split it 3.5 inches in, and working this on a dolly, I got this to follow the curve of the dash as well as the lower piece to come up and meet. And then I'm just working on a duct for the inside here. I've got a piece of 18 gauge bent in the shape, and then I took a piece of one of them elbows I had, and I'm going to get this fit in here. It's going to take a bunch of welding and manipulating and everything else. So this piece is going to be butt welded on the top edge and down the side slightly. See if I can get it in here. Okay, I'm going to have to do a little bit of trimming on the lower part of the dash here before it'll go in. I kind of expected that, and that'll be the next thing I can do. Get that trimmed so that this piece will go in. Then I'll finish making the duct, and we can put it in. So this is the AC unit. This D hole here, the second one over, is the one that's going to connect to that, and it just uses a flexible 2.5 inch tubing, so kind of like a sewer pipe for an RV. And just so happens that the 2.5 inch exhaust tubing that I'm using is exactly the right size for that to go over. So I'm going to get that dash trimmed so I can put this in, and then I'll show you how we finish making the duct there. Okay, so I took my elbow here and I got the angle that I needed cut on it, and then I used a piece of flat steel in my vise, and I squared the edge at the proper angles to follow the shape of the outlet here, or the outlet for the AC. So this is going to go on like that, and I'm going to have to fill in the ends here, and that's going to be my duct. So this will all be completed when I weld this panel into the car, non-removable, or into the truck, I guess. So okay, I'm going to continue with this and get the other pieces made up, get it all tack welded together, and make sure it still fits in the truck here. Oh, and I did trim out on the lower side of the dash and got this to fit really nice in there. Okay, I used some oxyacetylene heat and a pair of pliers and a hammer, and I flared the ends of this so that I would get a nice transition flow. So when this sits on here, It'll go just like that in the center, and I'll make a filler plate for the ends, both ends. I'll get those welded to this piece, and what I might do is just put a little tack in the center here that I can cut off, get these pieces made for the ends, and then I can weld them on, and then I'll weld the entire piece on the back of this, and hopefully it'll all fit. Okay, we've got the two filler plates welded on, ready to go. I'm just going to get this all positioned here and get it welded to the duct, and then hopefully everything still fits. Okay, so that turned into a pile of crap really quick. Turns out my eye isn't as calibrated as I thought it was. So what happened here when I installed this in the dash is the backside of this started running into the output duct that goes to the driver's side. So I had to trim this to bring it back this way and tip it up a little bit. And then I also had to cut 1/4 of an inch off of this part of the duct to bring it further in. So everything's good now. I'm just going to weld it all up, and it should be good to install. Then I can do my butt weld across the top, down the sides, and then there's going to be 4 plug welds across the bottom here. So I'll get this all welded up, and we can go from there. Okay, we got everything welded up there. I've got the panel tack welded in. I'm just going to finish welding it, get it ground up here. I can slide that vent in, and we'll see how it looks. Okay guys, we got that in and all welded up and ground. I think it worked out really well. The tube's going to fit on the back side really well. So all I got left is over on the far corner there on the bottom side. It's all rusted out, so I have to make a new compound curve, reverse curve piece to repair all of that crap over there. So I think that's the last piece of rust repair I got to do on the cab, and then just I got to fix up the doors here. So get started on that, get that done. Sure going to be nice to have her all finished. Okay, we're back. Going to get the last of these rust repairs done. So this is the bottom right hand corner of the dash, and it's all rusted out here. It's quite a bit worse than I originally thought it was. So I'm going to cut it off right here, and I'll have to rebuild this entire lower piece. And then the rust comes right over to about here. I'm going to have to cut the spot welds and make a new piece there as well. So this should be quite interesting. Okay, so we got this piece removed, and it's tiny, but I got a sneaking suspicion it's going to kick my ass trying to make this thing. Looks pretty complicated. So first thing I'm going to do is make a template for it and get a piece of steel cut out. I've got 2 layers of masking tape over top of this, and for my pattern I'm going to leave this a little bit longer on this end. I'll just get this pattern pulled out or pulled off, and then I can go over and cut a piece out. So this is curved this way and this way, and from what I've gathered here with the tape, I'm going to have to stretch the shit out of this to get it to curve back for me. So that looks like it's probably going to be a job. A little bit on the stretcher and a little bit on the planishing hammer. Got the blank cut. First thing I'm going to do is break this edge up at 90 degrees, or just a little bit less than 90. Then I can take it to the shrinker and I can introduce this curve into it here. That should get this piece started, and then I can start working this edge to get it stretched to bring the other curve into it. At least that's what I'm thinking. Right. So I've got this piece broke. I shrunk the 11 jeepers out of it, and I used my dolly in the vise here, which just happens to have exactly the right radius for this. So this fits really nice on there, and it follows the radius here perfectly. So now what I have to do is get in here and start planishing this, stretching this out so that it will tip out for me. This is where I'm probably going to screw this piece all up. So now I know I'm a little bit long on the bottom here, but once I have this proper shape in, then what I'm going to do is trim this back, and I'm going to try rolling it over just like that. If I can't get it to roll over, I may just weld on a piece of 1/4 inch rod just to stiffen that bottom edge. Here we are. So it's no wonder it takes so long to do all these repairs. This piece took 2.5 hours of the hammering, planishing, hammering, twisting, bending. Now I've still got to weld it in. So as you can see, it's quite the complicated piece. But we'll get her welded in here and see how it looks. Okay, we got that all welded in, ground down. Actually didn't turn out too bad. I was a little worried about it. Now I just got a whack of sanding to do, and actually gonna have to put some more filler on, even though I don't want to. Okay. Okay everyone, we got quite a bit done here. I got the glove box door all cleaned up and sanded. I got all the filler in, smooth out the little bit of the welds. I didn't film any of that. If you want to watch professional mudding, go watch Bad Chad or Dan from DD Speed Shop. They're way better at it. Use way more mud than I do. So just kidding. And the vent used to be that tan color. I painted it with some special plastic paint. Got it a nice flat black, and I've been playing around a little bit trying to find a color for the interior, and I found this sand color here that I think is going to work out really well. So that's about it for this right at the moment. I've got another project coming this weekend. I've got the 65 Fargo swept line coming tomorrow morning. It'll be Saturday. We're going to build a custom tonneau cover for it, roll up tonneau cover, and install a new fan controller. So that'll keep me busy for most of the weekend. Probably make a little bit more cardboard for Cardboard Cat as well. So anyhow, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for subscribing and watching all this crap. So take care everybody. Have a great long weekend, both in Canada and the US. So